And that is
And
crazy. That's a feat in itself.
right. And he's a bodybuilder, which bodybuilders always are look a little bit odd compared to
Hmm.
anywhere. You know, like if you've been to the gym, I've been to the gym.
Hmm.
It's one thing to be in the gym with people who work out. Bodybuilders look different even compared to people who work
Work
out.
out, yeah.
And one of the things I like about the film is like they dress Killian Maddox always like a bodybuilder. Because you know like how the bodybuilder style is like turtleneck with like a starter jacket with like hammer pants that have like multiple color schemes.
Do you remember those pants that the NFL put out that were different colors and stripes and
Zubas.
Zubas?
The
Yeah.
Zubas pants. Yeah. Everybody was yo, there's people in the gym right now wearing those things.
With a cut off sweatshirt, like the neck is ripped, the
Yeah.
neckline is ripped off, but he got a tank top, like one of them Jamaican see-through shirts,
Right.
lime colored
Right.
green,
Right.
like
It's on point. It's
with
just
a Tupac neckerchief on his head, man. The dude is out
yo,
there screaming. I'm thinking like, yo, who's getting murdered? You don't see him lifting weights, but you
yeah.
hear ah,
Yeah.
rah.
You
All
see him
this,
on the pull-ups when he's doing that, and then on the squats, and like, but
yo,
yo, people do that. Like you be in the gym and you trying to listen to whatever, and you like, why is this dude yelling? And then you look at him, you like, all right, I'm gonna let that go.
and
And
he
then,
got a and I think the thing that CJ didn't mention is while he's doing the pull-ups, he's got a plate. I don't know how much that plate was. I forget
right,
offhand,
hanging from him, right?
but
It's
that plate
right,
was heavy, hanging
right,
off of his
right.
waist while
45
he,
pounds, 45 pounds, right?
yeah. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, is this dude for real?
Yeah,
Then it jumps to a bathroom scene of him sniffing cocaine
and
and
shooting steroids,
injecting himself. I'm
and
like,
just yeah.
how does your heart maintain?
Well, we're gonna get to that too. We can get to that too, because and that's the other thing too. We talk about the acting ability of Jonathan Majors, but also the physical
Yes,
the way
demands.
that he had to go to look like he does. Like that's not they're not CG9
Nah,
nothing.
nah.
There's no muscle suit. Like that's him.
That's
You know what
all
I'm
him.
saying? Like that's like they didn't give him the suit with the abs in it. You
Mm-mm.
see it, and in most of them, a lot of movies he's in his underwear. So you
Yeah,
really getting like
which is a
this
whole
is what
nother
this
thing in
dude looks
itself.
like. So you're showing that once again, the dedication that he showed for this movie to even to be in that role, amazing. You have to remember too that this is a movie that should have came out in December of 2023.
Hmm.
Here it is coming out March 2025. So there's a lot of things obviously that have happened that have kind of derailed things. We're going to talk about in the end, like whether or not this is really going to set on another trajectory. But to get back to the story at hand, so Killian Maddox, he's trying to do this. He's trying to get into the bodybuilding world. He's also trying to navigate taking care of his grandfather, right? And that
Paw
begins like,
Paw.
yeah, Papa, right? And that taking care of his grandfather and being an advocate for him is kind of like the beginning of when things go off the rails. Once he gets into this turf war with the paint guys.
And that in itself is crazy. I mean, I would never introduce myself as, my name is Killian Maddox, and we've been dealing with my Paw Paw. Like, okay, all right.
Right,
So
right,
that should have been a tip or a
right,
tell to
right,
whomever he's been interacting with, whether it be the paint guy or his job or whomever.
right.
The next thing after the scene in which he introduces himself is the guy is really like trying to listen in and hone in on what he's saying. And he's
Hmm.
like, look, the paint is thin, needs another coat.
Yeah,
And the guy is like, all right, you know what? Eventually he gets there. All right, you know what? Pay us. And we'll come down, we'll put on another coat of paint. It's really that
yeah,
simple. He's like, if somebody says to you, I'm talking to you in a calm voice, be prepared for some type of emotional eruption
and that's what happens.
immediately.
And that's what happens. Yeah,
I'm going
yeah.
to come down and break your skull and drink your brain like fluid.
That's what he said. That's what he said. Yeah,
Okay.
and that's a wild threat. That's a wild threat.
Yeah.
And he goes, right, breaks in the thing, gets arrested for one of several times that this
Oh yeah.
happens in the
Oh yeah.
film, which we're gonna get in and get into. And it's like you just can't help but feel the I would say like remorse for the character because
Mm-hmm.
the Killian Maddox has experienced a lot of trauma because there's
Mm-hmm.
no way that he's gonna be like he is